So hi everyone, today we have a very special guest on our channel. We have Ansh returning to our channel. So Ansh, welcome back. Would you like to introduce yourself to the new viewers?
Thank you so much, Ashish, first of all, for inviting me back to your channel. Last video was a very good session. And just to introduce myself in brief once again, my name is Ansh Pasari, and now I recently joined Swiggy as a software development engineer level 1.
Right, right. So we'll be getting to know how he cracked Swiggy, his interview experience, his preparation, everything in between. So Ansh, start us off with your interview experience. Like how did you get the opportunity? What all happened?
Yeah, like I was already in search of a job, so I was very active on LinkedIn, like going through people's
Mm-hmm.
posts and everything. So I made a job alert like for multiple companies, and I also even search for hashtag jobs, hashtag careers, because like generally when people do post out for referrals and all, they include these type of hashtags. So
Yes.
from that I was getting like lot of posts of and sorting them according to the most recent. I got to know like which companies are hiring very recently for the required positions. So according to that, like I saw one of the employee of the Swiggy posting for a referral for SD1 role. So
Mm-hmm.
I just got his contact number through my contacts, and like I directly called him and like gave him a brief intro about myself and my past work experience, which he
Mm-hmm.
liked and referred me instantly. So then there were 3 rounds which were scheduled. It was an on-site interview, so one
Mm-hmm.
must think like if we are getting the invite for the second round, that means like they have cleared the first round. Before the technical round, there was an OA also, which
Mm-hmm.
included, I don't remember the number of questions, but I'll classify them as lead code, medium, hard. But it was
Mm-hmm.
like questions were of a good level. So people need to have experience with DSA
Yes.
to crack that way. And after that, cleared that away. So then I went for my first technical round, which was a DSA oriented round, where
Mm-hmm.
again, like number of questions is not fixed. It all depends upon the interviewer. Either he or she can ask one, or might be two also, or one plus a follow up, which happened in my case. But like the interview experience was too good. Like again, it didn't feel like an interview, to be honest. The interview,
Mm-hmm.
like in my case, the or in general also, what I have seen after joining the company, like interviewers while taking the interview, I've shadowed for different interview viewers. So in that I came to see like there's a good culture of like for the interviewers, like
Mm-hmm.
make the candidate feel so frank and like so open up, like
Yeah.
then feel like they are giving an interview. So
Nice.
like which I was asked, like I don't remember the exact question, but yeah, again I'll classify that as a lead code medium hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, as I said, like as I'll agree that I left my link for DSA. Like of course during the college time I used to do competitive programming, and
Hmm.
of course after joining a company, like whole of your field changes and one goes completely into the development line, which happened with me also.
Right.
For that reason, like my link with DSA got broke like very much. So one of the suggestion which I'll give to all the person who is watching this video, like please solve at least a question per day, or else
Hmm.
like
It's very important.
while switching, no matter it's SD1, SD2, you will be judged on your DSA skills, and then
Definitely.
scratch is like very difficult. And I know like how I manage to get a grasp on DSA once again. It's a
Hmm.
myth, like if you're good in DSA at once, you will have that in your like blood or in your veins, but that is not true. You need to have a good practice on DSA. So even
Yes.
question per day will help you like at least keep a hold on your DSA skills, or else you will completely feel lost while when you start again.
Hmm. That's very true. Like especially same for me, right? I have now 3 years of experience. So even when I was in college, I was very good at DSA. But if you leave it for more than 6 months, you feel like you have lost all the skills and you have to start again from scratch. It's literally like that.
Now like I have made in my mind like I have to solve a question at least per day. So now I'm keeping that in mind, like no matter what how much workload I have, or no matter what however hectic my routine is, but I
Hmm.
make sure I solve one question per day. Sometimes it goes to two
Hmm.
three also, but one question is minimum for me.
Hmm. Right, right. So you would say that a good majority of your online, so online round was on DSA, totally DSA. It had medium to hard, and technical interview, a good majority of it was on DSA, which was again medium to hard. So was there anything else they asked, like CS fundamental, system design, or was it purely on DSA?
No, like in OA, there were no questions other than DSA. Even in the first
Hmm.
technical round, there were no questions other than DSA. Like in DSA, if you are using some of the collections in Java or
Hmm.
SQL library, so there are chances like they might ask like how is map or how is vectors
Hmm.
internally. They'll not ask you to code, but they can ask like just for the information like whether the candidate knows or not or he or she is just using.
Hmm.
So I'll
Hmm.
suggest like
Internal implementation.
yeah, like map uses trees, so like one should know.
Hmm. Right, right, right. And apart from this, it was for SD1, right? So was there any system design also for SD1, or how was
After the first technical round there was a system design round like in
it?
which
Okay.
again like I was given a problem statement and in which we had a very brief discussion like what will be my methods, what will be my classes, which
Mm-hmm.
classes or methods will be private, public, and how will I encapsulate solid principles in my design. Though not a very deep discussion, a high level discussion only, but like while
Hmm.
deciding the methods or everything. But again, like they made me code. They don't expect a running code at the end,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they expect a like at least a pseudo code because they want
Hmm.
to judge like how the candidate is thinking on a design perspective rather than just the implementation perspective.
Hmm.
So
Right, right.
in the
Yes.
in the design round, yes. So again, like I'll prefer Java over C++
Hmm.
because like making classes and methods in Java.
Easier. Yeah.
Designing a Java project is much easier as compared to a C++ project for me because like I've worked with Java during my past career experience. So
Hmm.
again, it is very candidate specific. But yeah, if someone is like in college and giving for the first time and they don't have any language specifications, so I'll prefer like doing it in Java itself.
Hmm. Right, right. So this was the system design round, which happened after a technical interview on DSA. So after this, was there HM round directly or any more technical interview?
Yeah, like in my case, my application went on hold because the position got filled
Hmm.
after these two rounds.
Yes. Yeah.
So my application went hold for a few weeks, but then I received a call from the interviewer stating like, as you have cleared both the
Hmm.
technical interviews, so there's another opening, and we are considering you as the first candidate for that opening.
Hmm.
So I had my hiring manager round, and for experienced candidates, generally the hiring manager round, I don't know about freshers, I'm not sure, but for experience, like the hiring manager round is with the manager under whom you will be working.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
The manager judges on a personal level like whether the candidate is a good fit for the team or not. Like there can be tech questions also, like don't very not very deep, but a high
Hmm.
level tech questions also, and mostly the questions are scenario based, which generally happens in a hiring manager round, like whether you were stuck in this scenario, how did you deal with that, and like what was the outcome of this particular type of scenario. Or
Hmm.
even if you're not faced that scenario, so they might ask like if you get stuck in same kind of situation something sometime in future,
Hmm.
so
Right.
how will you deal with it. So for
Hmm.
that, like I'll suggest like be honest, be smart while answering.
Hmm. So HM round was more of a like formality, or was it also eliminatory kind of
No,
thing?
no, 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 it is not
Eliminatory.
eliminatory.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
though technical round like gives you like gives the candidates technical skills overview, but like
Hmm.
after working for an year in my previous company, I came to know like what is actually meant by fitting for a team.
Hmm. Right.
And
Hmm.
not just for the company's point of view or the manager's point of view, even if the candidate gets to know like what the team is working on and what he or she will be working on if he or she joins that particular organization, then they'll have a different level of confidence while joining that team.
Hmm.
Even they can cross question the organization, like if you have any other another team which has
Hmm. Yes.
suppose if he or she joins some particular team whose work he or she don't like in future, and
Hmm.
then it might affect their performance, though they'll be having right technical skills, but just because their work doesn't align with their ha- like already skills which they have, then it might turn out
Hmm.
to be a negative point for them in their career. So I think so manager round should be eliminatory from both the sides, not only from the companies.
Correct, correct, correct. Okay, so that was the interview experience from the start to the end, right?
Yes.
All right, understood. And if any of you guys want to know about the in-depth preparation strategy, then we have discussed that in another video. I'll give a link to that in the description, and also I'll give a link to Ansh's Topmate as well. So if any one of you guys are looking for a switch or need help, then you can connect with Ansh on his Topmate. So you can connect with him from there. Link will be in the description. So Ansh, I would like to know more about your revision of DSA, because last time we discussed how you prepared DSA, and now you gave interviews recently for a couple of companies while you already had worked for 1 or 2 years. So, like you said, there was a brokerage of link right after you start working. So, how did you revise? How did you get back into the game?
Like the very first thing which I went was I prefer interview bit over
Hmm.
anything. So interview bit had like there are many SD sheets also which are very famous these days. So one can
Yeah.
follow that also. But interview bit was something which I followed during my college time also. So I knew the level of questions which they will be having, and I knew like solving those kind of questions will at least make me grab the basics of all the data structures and algorithms.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
during these like while solving those questions, my main focus was not to solve those questions but to understand and get back the algorithm. So honestly I didn't spend time
Hmm.
thinking too much about the question, because like once reading the question you get a like recap, like this question is not something which has some logical thinking, or if you know this
Hmm.
algorithm then you can solve this question. So after reading a question I get that recap that yes, this can be solved using a particular algorithm, but I'm not being able to recollect that. So I, instead
Hmm.
of spending time and recollecting that algorithm, I used to just go to the solution, see, read that algorithm, and then bookmark that question for my future.
Hmm. I
So
guess for that, note making is very important, like you said, right? You have
yeah,
to, yeah.
but I was honestly too lazy during my college time to make any kind of DSA notes, because like I think like DSA is something which is all over the internet. So of
Hmm.
course, personal notes help, but that time, like after getting the internship, before internship, I was in like regular competitive programming. So I never thought of
Yeah.
notes, because I never knew like I'll lose the link of DSA, and because
Hmm.
I never expected these job switches or something. Though I knew like I had to sometime in future, but I didn't know
Hmm.
like it will be so difficult to grasp that DSA skills again. So I'll
Hmm.
suggest like if you are into note making, it's a very good thing, and if you can maintain that notes, because no, like maintaining notes also is a very difficult thing.
Right, right, right. Correct, correct, correct.
Like getting
Especially in
of
college.
yeah, and like after getting the grasp of all basic data structures and basic algorithms associated with those data structures, I again like started solving random questions on lead code, but like again with having a filter of medium, I didn't go for hard at present
Hmm.
during that time while starting. So solving random questions on lead code like again like made my logical thinking active, and like it took me back during my college days. So so while
Yeah.
those questions, when I knew that I was aware of almost all algorithms, then I used to think about the questions. Like I used to sat for an hour, 190 minutes also over a question, and I used to think, because I knew like I am not lacking the knowledge to solve that question. It's just about
Hmm.
my logical thinking. So
Hmm.
if I'll not brainstorm on that question, then of course like this will not help me to increase my logical thinking. So
Hmm.
then I started solving questions on the like in the same way I used to solve during my college time.
Hmm.
And
Nice,
like
nice.
just like and even I also like studied basic system design. I'll not say like very in depth, but like basic solid principles. And like I recap like all my work which I did during my past career, like what were my experiences, and where like if any experienced candidates are watching this video, so like when we
Hmm.
raise a pull request, so we get comments on that, like hygiene changes or like method
Hmm.
changes or move this method from this class to this class. So all the things which I learned, like I one thing is I always used to ask, like when I used to get a comment on my pull request, like why we are doing this and why you are commenting for this
Hmm.
particular thing, for this particular change,
Hmm.
especially on the design part.
Hmm.
Like suppose if I was asked to make the a particular method private, so then I
Yeah.
first used to figure out myself like why private method is recommended, and
Hmm.
get the reason. Then I used to ask the particular person like why you are recommending to turn it into a private method. So these small things I recap well like while I was reading system design and all the principles of system design. So that helped me to like again like in my system design round to like gain much more confidence while designing, like yeah, this method will be private because of this reason.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Right. It's very important to know the in and out, especially if you're having 1 year experience. Even if you're going for SD1 role, if you're having a bit of experience, then they'll judge you on that, ki how you worked. Whether, like you said, whether you just did everything like you were told, or whether you actually had some thought process of your own. They'll seriously judge you on that, right?
That's why I think like having an internship experience for like college
Hmm.
students is must.
Very important. Very important. Correct. 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 All right. So I guess we have discussed pretty much a lot of things. Swiggy's interview experience. Not only we discussed Swiggy's interview experience, but we also discuss, tips on how anyone, if you're looking for a switch, if you're a fresher looking for your first company, then how you can do that as well. So pretty much, I think we have covered everything. And again, if any one of you wants to get in touch with Ansh, then also I'll give his LinkedIn as well. You guys can follow him from there also, and also his top link will be there. So thanks a lot, Ansh, for coming on my channel once again and sharing all your journey. Hope to see you again in another video soon enough.
Not for another job switch, but yeah, for for another
Definitely.
and or something like that, I'll definitely like to help the
Yeah.
candidates.